Good morning to all. In today's class, we will discuss the last keyword in exception handling. That is, what is that? Throws. We have only 5 keywords in exception handling. They are try, catch, finally, throw, and throws. These are the only 5 keywords which will be used in throughout exception handling. Except these 5 keywords, we will not use any other keyword. Again, I am repeating, try to do more number of programs on exception handling using these 5 keywords. They are try, catch, finally, throw, and throws. Okay. Till now, we have completed up to throw. We have written so many programs, okay, to understand the concept of try, catch, finally, and throw keyword. So last class we completed throw keyword. Okay. Now in today's class we will complete throws keyword. Now before going to understand this throws keyword, first we need to understand what are checked and unchecked exceptions and what is the difference between these two types of exceptions. So in Java we have two types of exceptions. They are checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. These two are very, very important. Already explained the difference between these two types of exceptions with respect to the exception hierarchy. You know the exception hierarchy, no? So with that exception hierarchy, we can differentiate checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. Already explained in the hierarchy, only 18 are unchecked exceptions. So what are the 18 unchecked exceptions? So how do we say? Okay, the answer for this is runtime exception and all its subclasses are unchecked exceptions. Or runtime exception and all its subclasses are the only unchecked exceptions. Totally there are 18 unchecked exceptions. If you remember or if you by heart the 18 unchecked exceptions, then we can easily differentiate whether the given exception is checked exception or unchecked exception. That's why we need to remember 18 unchecked exceptions. There is no other way to differentiate these two types of exceptions. Okay, yes, some of the 18 unchecked exceptions we can say easily because we have used those unchecked exceptions to write the programs on exception handling. Okay, now I will say some of the unchecked exceptions like this. Okay, now what is the main concept is runtime exception and all its subclasses. Okay, come under unchecked exceptions. There are only 18 unchecked exceptions. Some of the unchecked exceptions are till now we have used arithmetic exception, which is an unchecked exception. Next, array index out of bounds exception. Next, string index out of bounds exception, class cast exception, null pointer exception. So all these are unchecked exceptions only. Why? Because all these exceptions classes are subclasses of runtime exception. If you see the hierarchy, that's why please follow the hierarchy. Unless you understand the exception hierarchy, you can't understand these two types of exceptions. Okay, so directly you can't say whether the given exception is checked exception or unchecked exception. So to differentiate these two types, we need to follow the exception hierarchy. There is no other alternate. Okay, with that hierarchy, I can say 18 are unchecked exceptions and the remaining exception classes in that hierarchy are checked only. Because checked exceptions are more number of exceptions in hundreds maybe. That's why you can't remember no checked exceptions. So the easiest way to differentiate these two types of exceptions is we need to remember the 18 unchecked exceptions. If you remember the 18 unchecked exceptions, if some exception is given to you, then you can easily say whether that exception is checked exception or unchecked exception. Why? Because first you will see that exception and we know the 18 unchecked exception now. First we will compare that exception with these 18 unchecked exceptions. Suppose if the given exception is okay under these 18 unchecked exceptions, then we can say directly it is an unchecked exception. Suppose if your given exception is not matched with any one of these 18 unchecked exceptions, then you can say the given exception is a checked exception. Like that, first important point to remember is, okay, we need to differentiate the given exception is checked exception, or we need to tell whether the given exception is checked exception or unchecked exception. Okay, that is the first important point to remember. For that, you need to remember 18 unchecked exceptions. Once you remember the 18 unchecked exceptions, if one exception is given to you, then you can easily say whether it is checked exception or unchecked exception. So what we will do is, first we will compare the given exception with the 18 unchecked exceptions. If that exception is matched with any one of the 18 unchecked exceptions, then we can say the given exception is an unchecked exception. Suppose if the given exception is not matched with any one of the 18 unchecked exceptions, then we can say the given exception is checked exception. Like that, first we should know the given exception is checked exception or unchecked exception. Okay, that is the first important point. So after identifying the given exception, okay, that is whether it is a checked exception or unchecked exception. Now I will explain the procedures for checked exception and unchecked exception. In case of checked exception, what we have to do, and in case of unchecked exception, what we have to do. First, if you don't understand the difference between these two types of exceptions, then you can't say whether the given exception is checked or unchecked. No. Okay. Then in that case, you can't apply these procedures. The first step is, first you need to differentiate whether the given exception is checked exception or unchecked exception. After identifying, then we can apply the corresponding procedure. If you identify that the given exception is checked exception, you have to apply this procedure. I will explain the procedure. Okay. And now if the given exception is unchecked exception, then you have to apply this procedure. So these procedures are different procedures. So to apply these two procedures, first we need to identify the given exception. That is whether it is checked exception or unchecked exception. So now I will explain the procedure. Already explained in the last class. Okay, checked exceptions are checked by the compiler. During the compilation time only, the compiler will check the syntax of checked exceptions, and it will check the procedure for checked exceptions during the compilation time only. Here procedure is there. Okay, whether the programmer is applied this procedure, if it is a checked exception or not, the compiler will check during the compilation time only. Suppose if the programmer has not applied the procedure for checked exception, then the compiler will give you an error, that is compiler error. That's why checked exceptions are more dangerous, because during the compilation time only the compiler is giving you error. No, that's why you can't execute the program. No, that's why checked exceptions are more dangerous when compared to unchecked exceptions. That's why you need to apply this procedure if the given exception is checked exception. Okay. Now what is the procedure we have to apply for checked exceptions is, first one is, checked exceptions must be either handled or declared. Okay. What is the meaning of handling or declaring? So again I am repeating, checked exceptions must be either handled or declared. Handled means it is nothing but using try-catch blocks. You know already exception handling. Handling means we are handling the exception using try-catch blocks. No, already explained in depth about these try and catch blocks. Okay. Now handling is nothing but using try-catch blocks. Next, what is declared? Declared is nothing but here we have to use throws keyword. So when we use throws keyword is in case of checked exceptions. Okay, so throws keyword is used in case of checked exceptions, and the rule for checked exceptions is checked exceptions must be either handled or declared. Handled is nothing but using try catch blocks. Declared is nothing but using throws keyword. So how do we use throws keyword? I will explain in depth about throws keyword later. First, try to understand how do we handle checked exceptions. So checked exceptions must be either handled or declared. Handled means using try catch blocks. Declared means the method throws the particular exception, that is checked exception. How the method throws the particular checked exceptions, I will explain later. Okay. Now handling means, now try to understand these 2 points. Okay, handling means try catch blocks. Next, declared means using throws keyword. So who will use this throw keyword is in which method that checked exception is raised. That method will use this throws keyword. Okay, I will explain in depth about this throws keyword. Who will use this throws keyword is in which method the checked exception is raised. Then that method that method uses throws keyword. Okay, why that method uses the throws keyword is if the method doesn't want to handle that exception. Okay, if the exception is raised in any method, or we can say like this, if checked exception, because we are focusing on only on checked exceptions now. So if a checked exception is raised in a method, then that method doesn't want to handle that exception using try catch blocks. So if the method is not interested to handle that checked exception which is raised in that method, means how the method will handle that particular checked exception is using try catch blocks. So if the method is not interested to handle that checked exception, then what the method will do is the method uses throws keyword. Okay, so what is the purpose of using throws keyword is because this method is not interested to handle this exception, then in this case this method okay, by using throws keyword, this method wants to delegate that responsibility to its calling method. That is the meaning of throws keyword. Again, I am repeating the same statement. If an exception is raised, okay, in any method, or if a checked exception, see here, don't say exception now, because here we have 2 types of exceptions now. That's why we should be take more care about checked exceptions. So in any method, if a checked exception is raised, then then there are 2 ways for that method. Either that method can handle that exception using try catch blocks, or the method can throw that exception to its calling method. You know the difference between calling method and called method now? Okay, so using the calling method and called method, I can explain the syntax of throws keyword. Again, I am repeating, if a checked exception is raised in any method, there are 2 ways, okay, to handle that exception. Either that method can handle that exception using try catch blocks in that method, or if the method is not interested to handle that exception, then that method can throw or can delegate, okay, that responsibility to its calling method using throws keyword. That is the importance of throws keyword. If the method does not want to handle that particular exception, then that method can throw or can delegate the responsibility of that exception or the responsibility of handling that exception to its calling method. Again, this calling method can handle that exception, or again it can throw it can delegate the responsibility of handling that exception to its calling method. This concept is nothing but exception propagation. This is also very, very important. Okay, so in any method, if checked exception is raised, there are 2 ways for that method. that method, first way is that method can handle, okay, that checked exception using try catch blocks in that method, or the method can delegate the responsibility of handling that checked exception to its calling method. Then again in the calling method, again calling method can handle that exception using try catch blocks, or again the calling method can delegate the responsibility to its calling method. Like that, it is a chain. Called to calling, again called to calling, like that the exception can be propagated. Means checked exception can be propagated. That concept is nothing but exception propagation. We will see the programs one by one to understand throws keyword. So when we use throws keyword is using this declared concept. So checked exceptions must be either handled or declared. Handled is nothing but already we have used this handled concept. We have written so many programs on this handled concept. Now come the new concept is declared. Declared means if the method is not interested to handle that particular checked exception which is raised in that method, then that method can use throws keyword, okay, to delegate the responsibility of that checked exception to its calling method. That is the importance of throws keyword. Here what I have explained. So checked exceptions must be either handled or declared. Handled or declared, no. Handled means try catch, declared means throws, no. Or both also correct. So the method can do both also. The method can do only handling or only declaration or declared, or both. Means in that same method we can use try catch blocks, handling code, or we can use throws keyword, okay, or both also correct. Suppose if you write both, means both handling code and declaring code, then what the priority is given to the handling code. Means what is the advantage of this one is, if the method is interested or if the method wants to handle the checked exception by itself, then why it is handovering the handling mechanism to its calling method? That's why if you write both handling code and declaring code, then the JVM will give the highest priority to handling code only, because that method wants to handle that exception. Okay, even though if it writes both, but the method is or the method wants to handle that exception, no. That's why the JVM will give priority to handling code when you write both handling and declaring. Okay. Now this is the concept of checked exceptions. Already you know in the hierarchy only 18 are unchecked exceptions and the remaining are checked exceptions. You know the important checked exceptions are interrupted exception, file not found exception. Last class I have shown you the hierarchy, no. In that hierarchy you can find some of the checked exceptions like IO exception, input output, or file not found exception, or interrupted exception. Like this, all these are some of the checked exceptions. Now I will explain one program using checked exceptions with interrupted exception. Okay, next, what about unchecked exception means? So here in the predefined hierarchy, runtime class and all its subclasses are unchecked exceptions. So unchecked exceptions need not be handled or declared. Okay, that's why in the previous, in all the previous programs, we have taken only unchecked exceptions now. So it is not compulsory to handle or declare the unchecked exceptions. Let us take the previous all programs. We have written so many programs on runtime, this arithmetic exception, class cast exception, null pointer exception, array index out of bounds exception, and string index out of bounds exception. All those exceptions come under unchecked exceptions. Now if you see those programs, in some programs we have not used try catch blocks. Okay, so in arithmetic exception, simply I will write like this: class test public static void main. In that I will write system.out.println 10/0. I have not used try catch blocks. Close the main, close the class. Now if you execute this, if you compile that program, are you getting any compiler error? I have written only one statement, that is system.out.println 10/0. in main method of test class. After that, I am saving the file as test.java and I am compiling the file as java c test.java. If you compile that program, are you getting any compiler error? No. Why? Because 10 by 0 is an arithmetic exception, which is an unchecked exception. So unchecked exceptions need not be handled or declared. Because in that program I have written only in the main method 10 by 0. No? So it is an unchecked exception because 10 by 0 is an arithmetic exception, which is an unchecked exception. So unchecked exceptions need not be handled or declared. That's why the compiler will not give you any error. There is no compiler error in that program, system.out.println 10 by 0. But when you execute this program, you will get runtime error. You know, runtime errors are nothing but exceptions. So you'll get the output as arithmetic exception. Okay, I have explained the procedure for default exception handling. No, what is the output you are going to get when you execute that program and all you know. Okay, that's why if you execute that program, understand the concept first. So if it is unchecked exception, then compiler will not worry about the unchecked exceptions. There is compiler will worry about only checked exceptions. That's why checked exceptions are more dangerous. So checked exception means it must be either handled or declared or both. Otherwise you will get compiler error only. You can't execute the program. But in case of unchecked exceptions, there is no compiler error, even though if you do not handle or declare. You need not write either try catch blocks or throws keyword. Okay, without using try catch blocks and throws keyword also, no problem in case of runtime exceptions. There are no compiler errors. Only when you execute the program, you will get runtime error because you have not handled. No? Suppose if you handle that 10 by 0 exception using try catch blocks, okay, definitely it is graceful termination. If you don't handle, it is abnormal termination. So all the previous exception handling programs are unchecked exception handling programs. That's why no need to write the unchecked programs on unchecked exceptions separately. Already we have written so many programs on unchecked exceptions like arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, array index out of bounds exception, class cast exception, like that. So all those programs come under unchecked exceptions, because the rule is that for unchecked exceptions need not be handled or declared. Okay, no need to write the try catch blocks or no need to use the throws keyword for unchecked exceptions. Okay, there is no compiler error if you won't write either try catch blocks or if you won't write either this throws keyword. Simple best example is in the main method write system.out.println 10 by 0. 10 by 0 is an unchecked exception. Either it is not handled or it is not handled or declared in that program. We have not used either try catch blocks or throws keyword, even though you are not getting compiler error. So that is the beauty of unchecked exceptions. But when you come to checked exceptions, so checked exceptions must be either handled or declared. Otherwise, definitely you will get compiler error. Okay. For this, okay, to understand the difference between these two types of procedures, first we need to differentiate whether the given exception is checked exception or unchecked exception. Now in today's class, I will explain the program on checked exception in depth. With that program, you can understand, okay, how do we handle or declare the checked exception. Okay, checked exceptions must be either handled or declared or both. Okay, but unchecked exceptions need not be handled or declared. Okay, only you will, if you won't handle or declare also, you won't get compiler errors in case of unchecked exceptions. But in case of checked exceptions, if you don't handle or declare, compulsory you will get compile time error. So to avoid compile time error, you must do either handled or declared. That's it. Once you understand the concept, the programs are very, very easy only. Suppose if both are there, you remember this. Suppose if you write both handling code and declaring code, then the JVM will give the first priority to handling code only. We will see the programs, okay? Here in our program, if there is a chance of raising checked exception, then that checked exception must be either handled or declared. Already explained. That's using throws keyword. The method is delegating the responsibility of exception handling to its calling method. This is throws keyword. In the final exam, if the question is explain throws keyword in exception handling, means you must write first write first checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions, then write throws keyword where we use throws keyword in checked exceptions, means here this is important point. Using throws keyword, the method is delegating the responsibility of exception handling to its calling method. This is the very, very important point to remember about throws keyword. But when we apply throws keyword is in case of checked exceptions only. In case of unchecked exceptions, it is not necessary. So unchecked exceptions need not be handled or declared, but checked exceptions must be either handled or declared. So in declared concept, we use throws keyword. Always the method uses this throws keyword to delegate the responsibility of that exception handling to its calling method. I will explain with programs, then you can understand more clearly. Okay. Now unchecked exceptions need not be handled or declared. So read all these points. This is important now, because already we have written so many programs on unchecked exceptions. That's why in today's class we will write programs on checked exceptions. Suppose in the exam, if the question is like this, write a Java program on checked exceptions, means we have to write only checked exception program. If you write the exception program using arithmetic exception, null point exception, you won't get marks, because arithmetic exception, null point exception, all those are unchecked exceptions. If the question is write a Java program, okay, using checked exception, means we should write checked exception program only. If you write unchecked exception program, you won't get marks, you will get 0 marks. Okay, that's why first try to understand how do we write a program on checked exception, or how do we use throws keyword. Okay, now if you write this program, that is program on checked exception, it will be useful for write a program on checked exception. We can write the same program, or write a program using throws keyword. Okay, for that also we have to use the same program. Okay, try to understand this program, it is very, very important. Okay, now programs on checked exceptions. So here I have taken one class. Inside the main method, I have written only thread.sleep of 1000. Okay, next in 4th unit we will discuss multi-threading. There you can understand more clearly. Now I will explain what is the meaning of this one. Okay, thread is a predefined class. Okay, you know already thread is a predefined class, and in that one static method is there, that is sleep method. It is taking some milliseconds as parameter. So sleep method is a static method in the thread class. Already you know the static methods. How do we use the static variables and static methods outside the class is using class name. So like static variables, we can use static methods of one class in another class using class name. That's why sleep method is a static method in the thread class. That's why we will access sleep method of the thread class outside the class. Outside the class means this class is different now. Thread class is different, class test is different. So inside the class thread, I have static method, sleep method. So the static method of thread class can be used outside the class, that is inside test class, using this syntax, that is thread.sleep of 1000 milliseconds. Because here thread is a predefined class, in that we have a static method, sleep method. That's why we are accessing the sleep method or the static method. Okay, static sleep method of thread class outside the class using thread.sleep of 1000. So if you execute this statement, you will get what? Compiler error. Why? Suppose in the same state, in place of this statement, if I take, okay, if I take system.out.println 10/0, see, in place of this statement, now try to understand the difference between checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. So in place of this thread.sleep of 1000, if I take, okay, if I take system.out.println of 10/0, so you know 10/0 is an arithmetic exception, no? And you know arithmetic exception is an unchecked exception, no? So unchecked exception need not be handled or declared, no? That's why you will not get compiler error, because 10/0 is an unchecked exception. But if you take thread.sleep of 1000, so now I will show you the sleep method syntax which is there in the thread class. Okay, with this you can understand more clearly. So class thread, inside that we have sleep method. The syntax of sleep method is this. So public static, already explained, no? Sleep method is a static method. That's why we can use with class name. That's why thread.sleep we can use. Okay. So static void, return type is void, sleep is the name of the method. It is taking the integer value which is milliseconds. Next, throws, this is important now. So throws interrupted exception. Okay. Now sleep, here put open brace and closing brace. Here one opening brace is missing. So this is a method, no? Method means it should have body, no? This is class opening, class close. Okay, but here this method, for sleep method, you have to put one more opening brace. It is missed here. Okay, because it is a method, it should have both opening and closing braces. Okay, now this is the sleep method inside the thread class, and here the sleep method throws interrupted exception. This is given by the Java developers only, because it is a predefined method and which is there in the predefined class. We have to use them only. So here sleep method throws interrupted exception. They have given like this. Okay, throws interrupted exception means already explained. Interrupted exception is a checked exception. If you see the hierarchy, it is not there in the 18 unchecked exceptions. That's why it is a checked exception. So Java developers used for sleep method throws interrupted exception. So what does it mean is sleep method is throwing the responsibility of handling the interrupted exception to its calling method. See, throws means, again I am repeating the same statement. So whenever a method, see, always throws keyword is used by the method only. So the syntax for throws keyword is this one. Okay, so method followed by immediately throws followed by the checked exception. Okay, this is the syntax for throws keyword. Inside the method we are writing try catch blocks now, but throws keyword means along with the method only we will write throws interrupted exception. So it must be a checked exception only, because unchecked exceptions need not be handled or declared. No need to worry about unchecked exceptions. But because here interrupted exception is a checked exception, means either this sleep method must handle this checked exception. Inside the sleep method, it has to use either try catch blocks to handle this checked exception, or the other way is this sleep method can use throws keyword to delegate the responsibility of handling this interrupted exception to its calling method. But here Java developers used sleep method throws interrupted exception. Okay, for sleep method there are two ways to handle this interrupted exception. Either inside the sleep method we can write try catch blocks, that is one way, or along the sleep method in the same syntax we can write throws interrupted exception. So what does it mean? Again I am repeating the same statement. If you understand the meaning of this method throws checked exception, then you can write the programs on your own. So what is the meaning of method throws checked exception is this method doesn't want to, again repeating, so sleep method doesn't want to handle this exception, handle this interrupted exception inside that method. So the sleep method does not want to handle this interrupted exception inside the sleep method using try-catch blocks. In that case, what it will do is, it will delegate the responsibility of handling this interrupted exception to its calling method using throws keyword. So if it is not interested to handle the interrupted exception, which is a checked exception, in its method using try catch blocks, then what the method will do is, the method uses throws keyword to delegate the responsibility of this exception, which is a checked exception, to its calling method. Okay, so that is the throws keyword. Now we will link up these two. Okay, this is thread class. Inside thread class, sleep method is there. This is our class. Inside our class, we are using the sleep method. Because here we have written thread dot sleep of 1000. No, because if you see it sleep method. Okay, it is using throws interrupted exception. No, what is the meaning of this? Is sleep method is throwing the responsibility of this interrupted exception handling code or handling to its calling method. And now we will see. Now connect these two. Here sleep method means it will come to this place. No, so thread dot sleep of 1000 means in our class we are writing thread dot sleep of 1000 means it will invoke this one. Okay, it will invoke this sleep method. But when it invokes this method, here the sleep for sleep method it is throws interrupted exception. Now in this case, sleep method is throwing that interrupted exception to its calling method. So who is calling sleep method? This is the main method. No, so main method is calling sleep method. So main method is called calling method and sleep method is called called method. So here already explained, sleep method does not want to handle the interrupted exception using try catch blocks in that method. Then it is in that case it is throwing that interrupted exception handling responsibility to its calling method. So who is calling sleep method is, in this case main method is calling sleep method. That's why sleep method is throwing the responsibility of handling that interrupted exception to its calling method, that is main method. So now it is the responsibility of main method to handle that interrupted exception. But inside the main method, there is no handling code, that is try catch blocks, or the method is not also using throws keyword to handle that exception to its to hand over that exception handling code to its calling method. So main method is not doing anything. So either main method has to handle that exception using try catch blocks, or the main method must use throws keyword or throws interrupted exception to handle or to delegate that responsibility of that exception handling to its calling method. Who is calling main method? JVM. No, but main method is not doing either main method. Inside the main method there is no try catch blocks or there is no throws keyword. That's why you will get compiler error. So here in this case, because when sleep method throws interrupted exception, the calling method of sleep method is main method, then the main method has to write either handling code or it must use throws keyword. But main method is not doing anything. That it means it is not using either try catch blocks or it is not using throws keyword. That's why in this case we will get compiler error. Now you can understand more clearly. Sleep method is throwing interrupted exception, which is a checked exception. So the main method has to handle that exception using try catch blocks, or it can throw that exception to its calling method using throws interrupted exception. But main method is not doing anything. That's why checked exceptions must be either handled or declared. But main method is not doing either handling or declaring. That's why in this case compiler error. Now how do we overcome this compiler error is, the main method must handle that exception, either handle the exception or declaring that exception. Now I will explain first handling code, how the main method will use handling code to overcome the compiler error. Okay, now To overcome that compiler error, there are two ways the main method can do. So the main method can handle that checked exception. That is one way to overcome that error. Or the other way is the main method can use throws keyword to delegate the responsibility of that exception to its calling method. Who is calling main method means JVM is calling main method. Okay. Now I will explain the first case. That is main method is handling the exception. Handling means always writing try catch blocks. Okay. Try catch, not writing try catch blocks. By writing try and matching catch block is nothing but handling. Already you know. This is easy only. Class test. So public static void main string args. So inside that I have written inside the main method I have written handling code, that is write try and matching catch block. Sleep method is throwing the interrupted exception, no? So that's why the matching catch block is with interrupted exception class. Okay. Now inside the main method, first write try block. Risky code is there with this statement, no? It is throwing interrupted exception, sleep method. That's why thread dot sleep of 1000 put in the try block. Next, when a JVM finds error here, immediately it will go to this matching catch block and it will execute this statement. So here this is the first case. In this case, the main method is handling the exception. This is main method. Main method is handling the exception, which is nothing but it is writing the try catch blocks to handle this exception, which is interrupted exception. So, and interrupted exception is a checked exception. So checked exceptions must be either handled like this or declared. Why main method has to do either handling or declaring is already explained. So sleep method is using throws interrupted exception. So when sleep method uses throws interrupted exception, the meaning of this is sleep method is throwing this particular exception to its calling method. So who is calling sleep method is in this example main method. That's why main method has to handle that exception or declaring that exception. That's why inside the main method we have to write either handling code like this. So this is main method uses handling code. So if you write like this, there is no compiler error. So what is the output? Interrupted exception is handled. That's it. Next, what is the other way? So here the main method has two options. The main method can handle that exception, okay, like this, or the main method can declare that exception using throws keyword. Why main method, okay, wants to declare that exception is if the main method doesn't want to handle that exception. So if the main method is not interested to handle the exception like this, then what the main method can do is the main method can use throws keyword to delegate the responsibility of that interrupted exception to its calling method. Okay, that is the second option for main method. This is first option. Always better one is handling the exception. So if the main method wants to handle its exception, it is better, no? Okay, without delegating the responsibility to its calling method. If this method wants to handle, it is better. Okay. Suppose if the main method doesn't want to handle that exception, then in this case what it will do is it will delegate that responsibility to its calling method using throws keyword, right? Now this is the second option for main method. So class test main method. See here, this in this case the main method is not handling the exception. Means here we are not using try catch blocks like in the previous program. All these are separate programs. Now when the main method doesn't want to handle that exception using try catch blocks, the other way is it can write like this, either handling or declaring. Either handling or declaring is must. Otherwise, if you see the first program, in the first program we have not written either handling code or declaring code. That's why compiler error. So to overcome that compiler error, in the previous program I have taken try catch blocks. Okay, this is handling. Main method is handling, means there is no compiler error. So the other option for main method is it can throw to its calling method using throws keyword. That's why what is there here? So main throws interrupted exception means, so here understand carefully. Here in this case the main method is not interested to handle that interrupted exception using try catch blocks. Sleep method is throwing interrupted exception. That's why main method has to either handle that exception or it must declare that exception. In that previous program we have used handling code. Now in this program we are using declaring code. So main method throws interrupted exception means this is also correct. Throws interrupted exception, correct. In place of, instead of writing handling code, we are writing declaring or declared. So main method throws interrupted exception. So the meaning of this is the main method is handovering the interrupted class object to its calling method, which is JVM. Okay. So throws interrupted exception means here one object is created. I already explained in default exception handling, no? Like that, here one interrupted exception object is created by main method, and that interrupted exception class object is handover to JVM, because JVM is invoking main method. That's why for main method, JVM is called calling method and main method is called called method. So now main method is creating interrupted exception class object and main method is handovering that object to JVM. So here JVM will hand over that exception class object, interrupted exception class object to default exception handler, which will display the object information on the console as output. So if you see this, that is the output of this, you will get interrupted. You already explained, no? Default exception handler will print the object information on the console. Okay, along the thread name, it will first thread name, then package name, then class name, then description, then stack trace, like that. You will get the output using default exception handler. Okay, this is the now if you observe here, are you getting any compiler error? That is my point here. Checked exceptions must be either handled or declared, otherwise compiler error. So if you handle also, you are not, see, first you will see the first program is this. Here understand carefully. Here sleep method is throwing interrupted exception, which is a checked exception, but here inside the main method is responsible either to handle that exception or declare that exception, but here main method is not doing not handling that exception or not declaring the exception. That's why here compiler error, because checked exceptions must be either handled or declared. To overcome that compiler error, what I am doing is, in the next program I am using handling code. So if you use handling code, there is no compiler error and it is a graceful termination. That's why you will get the output like this. Next, either handling or declaring, no? If you see this one, it is declaring, means main method is using throws interrupted exception, means it is handovering that this interrupted exception handling object to its calling method, which is JVM. That's why here that this is like abnormal termination only. You won't get output, but the output is the object information, that is interrupted exception. You will get here output. So here this is nothing but throws. The advantage of throws keyword is we can see only in checked exceptions. Interrupted exception is a checked exception. That's why we must use throws keyword for interrupted exception, or we can use handling code like the previous program. Or both also correct, no? Both means if both are there, the JVM will give priority to its handling code only. Both are also correct as syntax wise, no compiler error. If you use both handling code and declaring. So class test inside the main method, I have written same handling code, and I also used throws interrupted exception. This is handling, this is declaring. Okay, if you take in the same program, both are syntactically no problem, no compiler error if you use both also. That's why checked exceptions must be either handled or declared or both. Okay, here this is a program on both. But if you write both, the JVM will give the priority to its to handling code only. Why? Because you can easily understand. Why? Because here main method wants to handle that exception by itself. It doesn't want to give that exception to its calling method. Means main method is handling the exception in its own method. It doesn't want it here throws means so it can also throw that exception to its calling method. But when the method wants to handle that exception, which one is given first priority? Okay, only for a handling code. If handling code is not there, then only JVM will use throws keyword. Okay, means to delegate the responsibility of this exception to its calling method. But in the same method, handling code is there. That's why JVM will not consider this, even though if you write throws. So syntactically, no problem. You won't get compiler error if you write both also. But the JVM will give the priority to this. That's why if you execute this program, you will get this mapping catch block is executed. No? So that is interrupted exception is handled. So these are the three programs to understand on our throws keyword. Next last program is exception propagation. So how do we propagate the exception? If a method doesn't want to handle that exception, it can propagate or it can delegate the responsibility to its calling method. No? Like that, I will take 2 or 3 classes and I will propagate the exception using throws keyword. So write a program using throws keyword means this is also the best program. Here you can understand in depth. Now class test inside the main method. Okay, here I have do stuff method is there. Now don't see this throws. Okay, so public static void main string args. Inside I have do stuff method. So from do stuff, from this is the invocation of do stuff method. From this I will go to the do stuff method definition. So now see the do stuff method definition. Inside the do stuff method, I am invoking do more stuff method. From this do more stuff, the control goes to do more stuff method definition. Now don't see throws keyword for all these 3 methods. Now I will explain. Simply remember, don't see throws keyword. So I have main method. Inside the main method, I am invoking do stuff method. Again, inside the do stuff method, I am invoking do more stuff method. Now it will come to do more stuff method definition. This is the last method to be executed. No? That's why inside the do more stuff, what I have written thread dot sleep. Here dot is there. So thread dot sleep of 1000. Already explained sleep method throws interrupted exception. Okay, sleep method of the thread class so throws interrupted exception, which is a checked exception. That's why when sleep method writes throws interrupted exception, the calling method of sleep method must handle that exception or declare that exception. Now, who is calling sleep method? Do more stuff here. So do more stuff is calling sleep method. So do more stuff is called calling method. Sleep is called called method. So now it is the responsibility of do more stuff to handle that interrupted exception or declare that interrupted exception. That's why do more stuff is the calling method of sleep method. Like in the previous programs, main method is the calling method of sleep method. But here in this case, do more stuff is the calling method of sleep method. That's why do more stuff has to handle that interrupted exception raised by sleep method, or it has to declare. But here what the do more stuff is doing is, it is not handling using try catch blocks. It is using throws. That's why do more stuff throws interrupted exception. Here up to this no compiler error. Because sleep method throws interrupted exception means that interrupted exception must be either handled by do more stuff or declared by do more stuff. Here do more stuff is not handling, simply it is declaring. Means using throws interrupted exception. Up to this correct. Now again try to understand. So when do more stuff throws interrupted exception, what is the meaning of this statement is do more stuff doesn't want to handle that exception. It is delegating the responsibility of this interrupted exception to its calling method using throws keyword. Understand throws keyword. If the do more stuff method does not want to handle that interrupted exception, then simply it will delegate the responsibility of this interrupted exception to its calling method using throws keyword. Now who is calling do more stuff? You can say do stuff. So here do stuff is the calling method, do more stuff is the called method. So the calling method of do more stuff is do stuff. So from this the control goes to this do stuff. Again, so when it is do more stuff is delegating the responsibility of this interrupted exception to its calling method. What the calling method will do is, again the calling method has to handle that exception or declare that exception. But again, the calling method is not handling the exception by putting try catch blocks. Means in this case, you can put try in the try block. We can use do more stuff, and in the catch block write interrupted exception. That is nothing but do stuff is handling that exception. But here it is not handling the exception. Again, do stuff method is also delegating the responsibility of interrupted exception to its calling method using throws keyword. Now who is calling the do stuff method? You know, main method is calling do stuff method. Here again main method can handle that exception by putting try block for this do stuff and writing the matching catch block, that is for interrupted exception. So if you write try block for do stuff and writing the matching catch block for interrupted exception, that is nothing but handling by main method. But here main method is not handling that exception which is thrown by do stuff method. Okay, the calling method of do stuff method is main method. So it is the responsibility of main method either to handle that interrupted exception or declare that interrupted exception. Here we see, if you see main method is not handling that exception using try catch blocks. That's why main method is using again the same throws keyword. So when the main method uses throws keyword, then what is the meaning of this is, again the main method is also not interested to handle that exception. Okay, using try catch blocks, again it wants to delegate the responsibility of that interrupted exception to its calling method. See, if you understand from this we are throwing. So this method is throwing this interrupted exception object to its calling method. Again, this method is also throwing the interrupted exception object to its calling method. Again, if you see, main method is also throwing that interrupted exception object to its calling method. Finally, who is calling main method? JVM. That's why this object is, okay, main method handovers this object to its calling method, that is JVM. So now the interrupted exception class object is there with JVM. Now JVM will hand over that object to default exception handler, which will print the object information on the console as output. Now if you see this output, you will get interrupted exception object information, you will get the output. Okay, so this is nothing but exception propagation. Means that exception class object is propagated always to its calling method like that till the main method is reached. That's why this is also a very, very important proof. Here this method is throwing that responsibility of this interrupted exception to its calling method. That's why from this it will go to the JVM will go to the calling method. Calling method again it is also propagating the exception object. Again main method is also propagating that exception object using throws keyword. Finally JVM will take that object and prints the object information on the console. See, here we have used 3 times throws. Now with these programs, maybe you understood the concept of throws keyword. So here these are the different types of programs we can write with the same program. As no method wants to handle. So here if you see, this first one is this program. Here in this case no method, that is do more stuff is not interested to handle using try catch blocks. Do stuff is also not interested, or this main method is also not interested to handle that exception. That's why here the exception is propagated to JVM. That is this first case. Next, suppose if do more stuff wants to handle, then in this case, so here it can write put try block for practice all the 4 different types of programs. Put try block for thread.sleep and write the matching catch block here itself. Then no need to write throws. If you write throws also correct. But anyway, the priority will be given to the this handling code. So again I am repeating, put thread dot sleep of 1000 in the try block and write the matching catch block. That is nothing but to do more stuff is handling by itself. Okay, now this is second program. See the output. Next, if do more stuff is not interested to handle that exception, that is next program. So it writes only throws interrupted exception. So in this case, so again do stuff has two possibilities. One is handling and another one is declaring. Again, don't write this one when you write the third program. Here put try block for do more stuff, try block for do more stuff, and write matching catch block without writing throws. Means this is also third program. Fourth program is do stuff is not interested to handle. Then in that case write throws. Then inside the main method put to try block for do stuff and write the matching catch block, that is interrupted exception. Then in this case no need to write throws. Okay, so these are the different types of programs we can write like this. First, no method wants to handle. Second, do more stuff wants to handle. Handle means write try and matching catch block. Next, do stuff wants to handle. Next, main method wants to handle. Like that, we can write 4 programs with this same program. So that program is for this one. If no method is not interested to handle. Okay. After that, write practice these 3 programs. So with this throws keyword is completed.